Bears.
That is super funny. I keep fucking up that opener. I apologize. Welcome to Bears Country Podcast. It's still. Do we consider this to be a bye week still? Because the week's already over. So now we can kind of wrap up a little bit of the bye week stuff and start to get into our thoughts about the Eagles. And I mean, I can't think of a better person to talk to about that than Lynn. So let's bring her on. Lynn Hayden, it's only been a week and it feels like I haven't talked to you in a month.
I know, right? Well, we haven't really gotten down to the meat. I mean, we talked about Green Bay last week, but you know what? We were just, but we're back. Yeah. And as I mentioned to you before we started the show, I didn't think I'd want to see the Bears again, but I'm ready. Now I needed that bye so bad, as I know you did, and probably most of the fans. So
right.
I'm ready. I'm back.
I think the bye for me kind of helped reset my frame of mind.
Yes, me too. Definitely me too. Back to where I was before the Green Bay game, where I said every week, these things are gonna happen. We gotta stay positive. We knew it was gonna be this kind of season, but after that Green Bay game, I had nothing left in me. It took me the bye to get over that damn game, and Aaron Rodgers.
I know. It's
but we're back. We got 4 more left, and
fuck the Packers. I'm just gonna say it one more time.
Yep. Yeah, me too. Fuck the Packers, me too.
So
I could say that all the time, but
as we have been progressing further into the week, as my mind has been resetting, I really want more wins now. I don't want to go out. I mean, we can't, if we lose that many games in a row and finish off that season, what is that going to do for the morale of the team? You're going to need to pick up some exciting victories.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And you're going to have a good chance to do it with these teams that are coming up, because they're all in the playoffs or in the playoff hunt. And if you can steal one of those, sneak in there and just, beat that game where you're almost overlooked because we're playing the 3-10 Bears. They have Justin Fields, but they're still 3-10.
And their defense sucks. So their line sucks. So this should be an easy breezy. But we do know, never discount, especially teams that got losing records. Never count them out.
Never count them out.
Screwed. Yes, and in my opinion,
they're like a cat backed into a corner. Cats get. You ever seen a cat attack a person? Holy shit.
Yeah, well, and the Bears have absolutely zero, nothing to lose. This is all just trying to get a little momentum, more experience for Justin, maybe the wide receivers, get our offensive line to gel a little bit more. Defense, forget about it. But,
and that's probably why we might have a better chance to win some of these games, is because I think they're going to be passing a lot more. They're going to. They have this,
I hope so. What they saw, but after what they saw with Green Bay, he had his best day ever passing, 254 yards.
Exactly.
And what was he, 20 for 25? So,
what a better time to go into a bye week than after having a positive game like that for him. He was excellent in the pocket. The offensive line improved in that game dramatically, especially with some of the play from Leatherwood. I mean, Leatherwood was playing well in the limited snaps he had. Riley Reef was playing well. The whole Mustafer's been playing well. So everyone wants to shell over Musty.
They're going to get better and better, and maybe these next 4 games can get these guys, gelling a little bit more, and then we go into the off season and try to figure out what we're going to do at center, number 1. And that guy, I'm sure. I don't know what was it, 3-year contract they signed him to. I'm not really sure, but I mean,
3-year contract. Yep.
And
he's
so,
not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. And you know what? If he could be healthy, he's going to be a solid center for us. We saw it one quarter. And, so
he was good for the quarter he played.
He sure was when he finally played his position, and then he hurts his toe. But, I mean, but yeah, I think out of the 4 games, the 2 I think we could win are Detroit and Minnesota, quite honestly.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Minnesota, I thought, well, maybe if they're at a point where they're
not going to be playing all their starters. Yep.
Yeah, but now there's only one team, I believe, that gets the bye.
I think you're right. I think you're right on that. They changed the rules, right, with the extended season, right?
Yeah. If it comes down to the point where they can't get it and the Eagles keep the lead, then why would they play any of their starters anyway? So then,
Eagles, you're right. They're already in. So, you're right. That could be the one. I don't think Bills, because the Bills have to keep mustering because they're, what were they? I don't know what they are, 10-3 now. And they won last week. Yeah, they're 10-3, right? Yeah. So they got to keep the pedal on the metal because everybody's playing in their division, right? So they I don't think we're going to win that one. I really believe we're going to win Detroit because I think the Bears are going to remember. I hope that Coach Flus puts that game film up and says, look, that was a win from beginning till that 4th quarter. You guys had that game. So I think going into their home field, I think the Bears could upset them, and they're really, they look pretty good when they beat Minnesota over the weekend. So maybe, it won't be Minnesota. But I think they could beat Detroit. I'm
kind of getting scared of Detroit. I'm going to be honest.
Well, you know what?
I don't know about that.
I'm happy Detroit. For them. I am happy for Detroit and their fans because, we get it. We get it. We've been there. We sucked too. The only difference is the Bears have won a Super Bowl in our era, and they have not. So you kind of like to see those teams, kind of come out of nowhere. But we'll see.
I hate to say it, but being out of the playoffs, I'm kind of rooting for the Lions because
me too.
I would like to see. Let's get 2 people from the NFC North representing, in the playoffs for us.
Yes. So and yes, I totally agree. And then hopefully
feels weird to root for the Lions,
Right. Yes. And moving forward, hopefully it's going to be the Bears and the Lions. And we're going to leave the other 2 teams in our rearview mirror, right? So, what does this say? Bills and Eagles are way better. Well, we know they're better, way better than the Bears. We know that. But you never know. There's been some upsets this season. And
I have a strange feeling about this game.
They're going to be rejuvenated, no doubt. They finally got the bye, and they're
here's
all their
another big
things are gone.
Another big point to this is to set to put the ball in motion. You look at people start looking at coaches' win-loss records after a bye, right? And you look at Nagy's, and his was shit. So you almost knew that he was going to lose coming out of a bye.
He was terrible. Yeah.
This is a first-year head coach that he had an undefeated preseason, started off 2-1, and has not won a fucking game since. So now you're getting into coming off of a bye. Let's see what you can do to rejuvenate your team and get some energy out of these players because they played well last game. I mean,
they did.
The rookies that were in and the young players did play well on defense, considering they were normally Aaron Rodgers comes out and starts carving up because he's looking for those young players to specifically pick on them, and it wasn't working. And it finally did towards the end because they had to scheme things differently. So they were playing well.
Yeah. Right. And they did play well. And remember, we were missing 2 good rookies, Brisker and Gordon, in that game. That backfield, it wasn't the backfield that lost that game for us. It was the defensive line and the linebackers and most of the defensive line. But that's what – and then, of course, those missed field goal, an extra point. I'm sorry.
Well, the missed PAT set the precedence for the game because even if the Packers they would have only been up by a touchdown and the urgency to score wouldn't have been there. And therefore the interception might not have happened because they wouldn't have had to try to get 2 scores in that time frame.
Exactly.
Move the ball fast.
And maybe if we scored that extra point and field goal, the momentum is totally in the Bears, and then Green Bay does nothing.
Right.
So that's what people say. Well, we lost by what? No, I know we lost from 9 points. I get that, people. But had you made those 4 points you left on the field, you don't know how the swing it does with the team, and so you just don't know.
I'll switch you over here. There you go.
See, you get a lot of people that are writing what they're writing here. They want us to lose so we can get a higher draft pick. You know what? I get that, and but I agree with you. At least at the end of the season, let's see it get it. Maybe beating Detroit will be just what we need. Maybe we could beat Minnesota. We don't know. But at the end of the year, it would be really nice to go into the off season feeling kind of good about yourself, right?
Most definitely. Oop, let's go back to this one. Most definitely. You do not want to. If you lose out, you're going to get that high draft pick. And we can kind of take a look at something here just to talk about that draft pick. We lost a position in that.
I know.
And
I heard
we
that.
didn't even play a game.
I heard that. I was like, how the hell did that happen? Well, because of Denver, right?
Yeah, and I just thought the Bears had a worse conference record than Denver, but maybe because of that
not
game.
Over yet, but Denver looked terrible. But now, what's his name is out. Wilson got hurt with that concussion. Who knows if he's going to play next week? Maybe they'll win. Maybe they'll shock everybody because, in my opinion, Wilson should have stayed right where he was in Seattle. Sometimes you change teams and all that juju you got going on don't follow you. And right now, I don't follow Denver all that much, and maybe it's got the receivers got something to do with it, but he looks bad from what I've seen.
Yes.
I mean, last week when I watched him, I'm like, I got to watch these guys. They're on. I'm going to watch them a little bit. And then, of course, he got that concussion, which I don't know if you saw it, but boy, when he was laying on that ground, you knew he had a concussion. He was just like, kind of like I was like in the 70s, out partying, but Russell. So you know what? If he's out, you never know. Maybe they'll start winning, and because I don't even know who their backup is, to quite honestly. So maybe they'll start winning because right now he isn't doing any good.
Their backup? I don't even know either. Yeah,
and
I pay so little attention to the rest of the NFL.
Well, I try to. But I do know what is funny though about Denver's they have brand new owners, and all that huge deal they gave Wilson, that was already in effect before the owners bought him. So now they're stuck with this huge contract. So it's like, okay, well, good luck. So don't screw us, Denver, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and they're going to go giving Seattle, like the word on the street is that I believe Seattle is in love with Jalen Carter. So if they're sitting there at 2, he's gone to them. And Bears at that point, they're going to have to take probably Will Anderson there, unless somebody wants to come up there for a quarterback. But but people will know that the Bears are not going to take a quarter. But the Detroit might. So that might be where the urgency comes in for a trade.
See, that's the thing about Detroit, as I've been saying now that they're starting to win. He's gotten this team believing. All they have to do is decide, is Goff going to be it, or are they going to go get a youngster and then let them sit for a little bit and then put him in? Because Goff, he's one of these. He can be good and then he can be bad, and he's got a rap that, and I hate saying this about people, but he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, and that's one reason the Rams got rid of him, because he wasn't processing it, and I think Sean McVay got tired of repeating himself,
Well, maybe Sean McVay's offense was too complicated for him, and the Detroit offense is a little more dumbed down for him.
Down for him, right? Exactly. That could be it. So they got to decide: are they going to stick with him, or they're going to get a quarterback anyways? But it's just a matter of how confident they're in Jared Goff moving forward. You'll know draft day.
I know there's a lot of people talking like that. I don't know if Detroit's going quarterback now.
Well, they got a lot of talent on that team. They certainly showed it on Sunday when they played Minnesota. Boy, they really did, and he does have them believe in that coach.
They, the Lions have done such a great job. That Matthew Stafford trade was just fucking golden, because who would have thought the Rams, after winning the Super Bowl, would be here sitting with the 4th pick right now with 4 games left to go in the season.
I know, exactly. And Stafford's out. Although that game on Monday night, was last Thursday, right? Where Baker Mayfield, holy crap! 2 days he's with the Rams and he brings them back to a win. I mean, that was insane.
That was incredible.
That really was incredible. I mean, you got to give him credit, man. 2 days and he won that game for him. So, I don't know, but I think he might win 1 or 2 before the end of the season for them. But I'm not worried about. Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, that has to be one of the worst falls from of heaven down to the ground is Rams. I don't remember a team winning the Super Bowl and being that bad the next year.
Yeah, because typically the team that wins the Super Bowl is pretty good for a little while. They're usually in the playoffs, and the team that loses doesn't make the playoffs. And now we're looking at the opposite here now, right?
Yeah.
The Bengals are in the wild card hunt.
Yes,
they're leading the wild card hunt
very well. Yep, because they beat Cleveland, right? Yeah,
right.
And I wouldn't watch that game because of the Cleveland quarterback. I'm sorry, I won't do it. He's an asshole, and I boycotted him. I started to turn it on. I said, nope, and I went to another game. I might have plenty of games, and I'm like, screw Cleveland.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
Yeah,
I cannot believe that the Browns did.
Well, they
that's
did
a whole
that.
Different,
you know what?
That's a show.
When we feel bad about the Bears, just think we could be the Browns, and I know a lot of their fans are pissed.
I don't even know how long I've said that for. And then finally, I started to feel like excitement for the Browns fans. When they looked like they were starting to build something there. And that's kind of the same feeling I have for the Lions because they've always been in a dumpster too. And
yes,
and then they started to build something, and then they just didn't get it right with Baker Mayfield, and then they go and do that trade and just lost all respect.
And something went on there. I'm not really sure. We don't know what goes on behind doors. And Normandy, I would love to have a beer with you too. Rock on.
Nomad did.
Yeah. Did I say his name right?
Nomad, yeah.
Oh, you call him Nomad?
Nomad, yeah. Or was that Cliff?
I said it wrong. Nomad. Ignore me. I get names wrong all the time. I'd love to have a beer with you.
I think you said Nomad the first time.
I might have. What is it? BC?
Have some drinks.
Now I'm thrown off. See, and I'm not even high. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, what are you drinking over there?
No, I'm drinking water with my electrolytes in it. I'm old.
She'll also sit down and smoke a joint with you too, Nomad.
Yeah,
this is one cool broad right here.
But Nomad, no, I'm a Coors Light lady. Sorry. I used to be Miller Light, but I had to mix it up a little.
One of these days, you and I are going to smoke a doobie on the show.
Oh, you bet.
The only reason why we haven't done it yet is because I'm not allowed to smoke weed in the house. So that's going to be like a special pass.
You know what? It does not stain the walls like cigarette smoke,
I know, but my wife doesn't like this.
No, it's okay. I have respect her, whatever.
She enjoys it, She doesn't smoke it.
She doesn't want it in the house. I get it.
Yeah. But
maybe when the Bears beat the Packers next year, that should be our game.
I can't even open a jar in the house because it's like it stinks up the whole house, and then it annoys her for the rest of the.
Really?
Walk around, spray everything. I'm like, it's not that bad. It smells wonderful.
I like the smell of pot.
So do I, especially fresh, like a good one.
Yeah, when you get fresh stuff. Although that doesn't happen often with you because you're in a state that's never going to make it legal. Because you're in the South. You're in the South.
Thanks for joining us, man. We were just. I hope you missed the first part. We were just giving Detroit a lot of praise.
We're talking nice about Detroit. Isn't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Again, Don.
You're gonna have to go back and rewatch it after it's recorded now, Don.
Yeah, because we were.
To be honest, seriously, I was saying, just to summarize it, Don, that I'm rooting for Detroit to get in the playoffs because
me too.
It's they've been in the dumpsters like we have for a long time. In fact, if you this is actually going to blow your mind. This is a stat that I couldn't believe. The Lions have been to the playoffs more since 1992 than the Bears have.
Well, they've had Matthew Stafford, for the prior 10 years before they traded him. And that's the thing I was going to say, too, is it's worse for Detroit because they had a pretty damn good quarterback. They just didn't have nobody around them to make it happen. Hey, Don. So that's even worse than the Bears. At least we didn't have any quarterbacks,
Right.
I would have been really pissed had we had somebody as talented as him and they didn't. But the ownership, they blew that, and then they were hiring these stupid ass head coaches. I mean,
well, what they've done with that quarterback is tremendous, and they're building something for the future.
Their coach is a ex-player, and they love. Dad, back at you, man.
Don Burrow, wishy, Lynn.
I know I am. The thing is, he's used to be a player, and they love him. They love that passion, and he was a player, so he knows what the team's going through. It's not that the other coaches don't, but he's just one of these guys that, if we didn't have Flus, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take Dan Campbell. But I'm still on Flus's bandwagon. I'm not,
I would run through a wall for Dan Campbell.
Yeah, they would, and it's showing.
I would too.
Oh, I don't know if I'd run through a wall for him, but
if I was a player of his, I would run
a player, yeah. I mean, if we're talking about running through walls, I mean, Jeff Bridges, that's a whole nother story. I mean, I'd run
Jeff
through
Bridges,
anything. Huh? Oh yeah, boom, you bet, baby.
Jeff Bridges, is he?
He's old, but
no,
he's a good-looking man.
What's the fucking movie the best movie he was in where he's the pothead? Is that him? I get the Bridges. There's two Bridges I get mixed up.
There's Bo and Jeff. Jeff's the better looking one than Bo.
Bo Bridges. Jeff Bridges
the Big Lebowski?
The Big Lebowski. Thank you.
The Big Lebowski. That's not his best movie, sweetheart, but that's most.
Well, that's I shouldn't say that's his best movie, but that's my favorite movie of his.
Yeah, I mean, I just love
one of them,
man.
I should say.
I don't know why I'm in love with him, but I always have been, and he's been married like 40 years, and I've written, and it's never gotten to his wife, but I'm like, just give me 24 hours, Mrs. Bridges. I'll give him back. I promise.
You like that kind of like that kind of mouth that he's got where he talks like a. See, I would have taken you to be a Sam. Sam, what's the old guy? The Sam with the big mustache, the guy from Roadhouse.
Oh, Sam Elliott.
A Sam Elliott fan.
Well, I like him too. True.
Jeff Bridges, though. Okay.
And Jeff Bridges is like, yeah, man. Every other word's yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay, man. I mean, he likes to smoke pot. That's for sure.
He's cool as hell, man. I love him.
Cool as hell.
He's one of my favorite actors for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
okay. Well, I guess we should talk football, huh?
I want to get just a quick rundown of your grade on the play. On the Bears Country podcast on Monday, Nomad and I, who's in chat,
which I listened to a little bit, and I heard you guys doing it.
We did a rundown, and I don't want to take, we're not going to take 3 hours.
Yeah, you guys really went into it. Yeah,
I prepared you for this, so I just kind of want to quickly know what your grades are, for the starting players on the Bears roster. And in fact, I should have had this ready, but let me pull up the Bears roster.
Ready. Just because you're
have it?
Dan.
All right, okay, let's do it then. But before we do that, I have a little surprise because I have a little fan of yours that wants to join and come in and talk some Bears with you, Lynn. So let's bring in Chris Watts.
Oh, Chris!
Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, Lynn.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, Lynn. How you doing, man? How you doing, Dan? I'm doing good. Great show so far. So, it's an absolute honor to come on the show with you, Lynn. I've been a fan for a long time, and you and Dan are so funny when you're together. You got such good chemistry. So I jumped at the chance to come on and speak to you.
Awesome. Well, welcome. You're an awesome guy, and I love you, man. It's great. I love that you're representing us all the way over there.
Lynn, I just want to say that I am actually having a beer with Lynn. So that's a message to Nomad.
There you go.
There you go. So Chris, what time is it there?
It is. It's about 11 o'clock in the evening, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
I've been on some of Dan's shows, and it's been like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I start off really well and seem to fade out and it gets about 3:30.
The last one was 5 o'clock in the morning, Chris. I think.
5 o'clock, man.
Oh,
I'm
really?
sleeping. Okay.
I don't want to even stirred as well. That's weird.
So, Lynn, we just have to. We're talking to Chris because there is a little bit of a lag with him because he's so far away. So we need to kind of just allow a moment for him to process what's coming through to him so he can reply to things. So we'll just kind of go. I want to start with you, Lynn. Just give me a rundown of your grades of the starting Bears players this year.
Okay. Well, I wrote it down real quick. You told me today, so I put a super lot of thought of it, but it wasn't really all that hard in some areas. So the one I had the most, oddly enough, with was Justin Fields, and not because I wanted to give him a bad grade. I really wanted to give him an A+, but we can't give him an A+, right?
Mm-hmm.
For effort, I would love to say, yeah, for everything he's tried to do this year, I could do that, but I can't. I think I'm still being generous with a B+. But with all his, he had to deal with that asshole coach last year, that bald guy. I won't say his name. And,
I'm not even going to get into that. I have zero thought.
We know you have zero thought, buddy. We remember, okay? Christ, for 4 years I remember. So, for all that Justin has been through, he deserves a high grade because he is, and he's improving. We know he can run his ass off. That's for sure. I mean, he's going to break 1,000 yards for sure this year, which is awesome. But in that Green Bay game, he showed me, which I've been praying for. If you watch my show, I've been begging them to throw the ball. They have nothing to lose. Throw the freaking ball. Just so, for one reason, to let all the wide receivers that are going to be free agents know that we mean to throw the ball next year. Otherwise, they're not going to want to come to the Bears.
Excellent point. Yeah.
Right? And that's been the problem for years with the Bears. We got, what's his name? Allen Robinson was probably one of the better ones that we signed. And then we did shit with him too. And then he got an attitude and left. So, like most of the Bears do. So I'm going to give Justin, because of just his effort, and he does improve each week. He's improved from the first game. I'm giving him a B+. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes. Just run down your line.
Comments?
Dag, can I jump in?
Please do.
Can I jump in? Can I comment after Lynn, and then we'll just go through the list?
Sure. Actually,
instead of me having to go through the list separately.
Fuck me, Chris. You're right. Let's do that. You go next, Chris. Tell us your thoughts on Justin Fields.
I'd give him a B+. I just think he's still getting better. He's just starting to. I think the game's opened up a bit for him, but he's had such a talent around him. He's had so much pressure in his face as well. But yeah, I'd say B+.
Yeah.
B+. I got it down here.
I agree, Chris, wholeheartedly.
I don't even think Nomad and I gave Justin a grade last week because we just assumed it was like a B+ or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give I'm going to go ahead and put that down for me.
But you just can't. So
right, we need more passing yards.
B+ is pretty good. I mean, it is. Okay,
if we're going to sit here and be, honest Bears fans, we have to admit that the passing game has to improve, and so.
Of course it does. He's got a lot of improvement to do. There's no doubt about it.
Massively.
What he has done so far with this season, coming from that last shit regime, and then building into where he is now.
Absolutely, he deserves it for that alone. You're right. He deserves it for that alone. Okay, so my next dude is Clement, our tight end, who I absolutely love. Homegrown guy. I gave him a B+ too. I think he's finally played this season the way we thought he should play when we drafted him 3 years ago. And he's finally stepped up, and I like how he stepped up and helping Justin out. You can see it. He's been doing what you need to do. He gets open. He's blocking like he's a great blocker, and he's coming back to the ball when Justin's having problems, which a lot of the receivers on our team do not do. But so Clement, in my opinion, gets a B+. Chris?
Yeah, I'd say B, Lynn. It's just sort of took a massive stride this year. I think him and Justin seem to have got some sort of rhythm going together. I mean that catch him here where he had to sort of twist around and catch it behind him was just absolutely amazing. So I think he's only going to improve, and I'm sure I've heard somewhere like it takes about 2 or 3 years for tight ends to really sort of get the game, from college going up to pro. So I mean, I'm really happy for him because like he has took quite a lot of stick over the last sort of year or so. So it's like you say, Lynn, hometown guy. You know what I mean? It's a good story as well.
Yep. I 100% agree, and he's been doing all the tight end camps and all that stuff. So you got to give it to him for the effort he's put into it and the improvement you're seeing on the field. And I gave him a B+ as well.
Yep. So we all agree so far. Okay, so I did 2 running backs because Herbert was in there before he got hurt, and he was leading the team, and Montgomery, and I'm actually giving both of them an A+, A-. And the reason I'm doing that is because they really helped save the season. Besides Justin's feet, they really have helped a lot. If they aren't running the way they're running, it would be a lot worse. I mean, a lot, because then. And they're even eating up time, which is important, which keeps our defense off the field and their offense off the field, especially our defense. The least they're on the field this year, the better, because they're terrible. So in my opinion, the running backs have been huge in keeping us in games. Whether if we didn't have them, both of them, we would solely be in a much worse spot. So that's really why I gave it to them. And they both run their hearts out. You can see it. They have not given up either one of them, even though Herbert's hurt right now. So I think it was a little generous, I'm sure, but it's my show with Dan, and I can say what I want. Go ahead, Chris.
How do I follow that, Lynn? How do I follow that? I don't know if I dare. I mean, I used to play running back, Lynn. I used to play running back, and I'm sure I remember that. You said running back's one of your favourite positions, which you like to watch. So I play running back. I reckon for Montgomery, I give him a B, and Montgomery, I give him a B+, and the other guy, I give him a B because obviously he's had the injuries as well.
Yeah, right.
And also Ebner as well. That's a bit of a strange one. So I was sort of watching Dan's show he did with Nomad, and it's quite strange that he just doesn't seem to sort of read the game quick enough, or I don't know if he's sort of not used to that sort of style of offense, but he just seems to sort of get to the line, just before he gets to the line, he just seems to stutter a little bit. It's not like in a good way, really.
Yeah.
But I reckon that could also be due. I reckon a lot of that could be due that he don't really get much of a run out. He only gets like a couple of plays, like a one series. So maybe, I remember playing running back, and you want to get the ball as much as you can. I'm not saying I anything particularly great, but that's what you want the ball. So yeah, right. That's my feelings on it.
Okay, right. I hear you. Okay.
Just for the record, I gave Khalil an A and Monty a B-.
All right. So little rough on David, I know, but okay.
Well, he just has kind of, as he's progressed through the season, he's a really good complement back to Khalil Herbert, but he's a jump cutter, and it just seems like the style of this offense isn't quite fitting what his skill set is. And
I can see what you're saying there.
And I'm not saying I don't love him. I love David Montgomery. He's the guy I wanted in that draft, and they got him, and I was so fucking excited because it's one of the first times they've drafted somebody I wanted him to draft, and I've just been wanting him to succeed and just paying every close attention to every play of his, just because I have that vested interest in him. And I don't know, he doesn't seem as quick this year as he did last year.
Yeah, and you could be right about that.
Khalil Herbert's not that much faster than him. It's just how he hits the holes and everything in this style of offense.
He hits the holes, and yes, he takes off. See, the difference with Cleo is he goes for and he goes out. David is more up the middle type of guy, taking guys with him as he's running. He can get you the touchdown on the 1 yard line if they'd ever fucking do it. And Christ. Instead, let's use our injured quarterback with a bad shoulder on the 1 yard line. Let's see if he can get us at 1 yard. You idiot. Okay, I'll stop.
Oh no, please keep going.
I mean, what I was just going to say what I like about Montgomery is just I'll just even though people go, he hasn't got the breakaway speed and Herbert has, but Montgomery he sort of bounces out with just due to his hard running. You know, like you said, just getting that extra yard after contact. You know, you never see him falling backwards ever in attack.
No.
He always seems to be yards. So I love that style of running, that sort of running. I'm not saying I was remotely as good as him, but that was my sort of style of running. So I think Chicago Bears sort of running as well, I think.
Yes.
And that's where I am totally in love with David Montgomery for those exact same things you said,
Agreed.
Chris. He is a Chicago Bears running back. He is the guy that delivers the hit. He's more like he makes me think of Walter. I don't know. I'm sorry. That was why I loved him in the draft, because he did a little Walter Payton stutter step. Yes. You know how he did that thing with the one hand and then he went around the guy for a touchdown, and I was like, that's my guy right there. And I've loved him ever since. And that play against the Patriots, where it was like a 2-yard or a 3-yard loss, and somehow he wormholed through. He got through 3 guys and then like wormholed another 5 yards. Or
that's what I mean about him. You know,
it was an 8-yard gain.
He's a
so it was like an 11-yard
runner, right? Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't give up. His feet keep moving all the time. And I want to say what Cliff is saying. I'm not going to say I'm 100% sure on this, but I'm going to say I'm 95% sure that Saquon Barkley, they picked up his 50-year option. So he's not a free agent, people. So stop with the Saquon Barkley. He's not coming to the Bears, and we don't want him anyways.
I completely agree on Saquon. I really do.
He wants. You say you want him?
No. I'm saying I completely agree with what you said, Lynn. It could be to fill. You know, we're quite good at running backs already. So why spend such a big amount of money on somebody in a position group where we're quite strong anyway? I don't see. You know, we need wide receivers on offense and offensive line maybe. So. To me, it just be a complete waste of funds, to be honest with you.
Yes. And Poles is not going to sign him because he knows better. Anyways.
Yeah.
I just pulled up here. This is the list of the 2023 free agents at running back. So he is a free agent.
See, I swear I read if I'm wrong, they're going to take his option. I can't imagine that New York isn't going to take his 50-year option. They need to. Because they've got no real quarterback, I mean,
right. So it could be that he's in here because his contract is up because they haven't done it. Wait, no, they would have had to do it. They would have to have done it before the beginning of this season.
I swear I saw that somewhere, but you know what?
1-year extension.
Yeah, if he was taken in the first round, which means he has a 4-year contract with a 5th-year extension, but you have to do the 5th-year extension before the 4th year begins.
I thought they did. I swear I read that, but
I could swear that you were correct too. Because you've said that before.
I wish somebody out there would look that up while we're talking, because of course I'm old, and pickled, so I could be wrong. But and you know what? You can't read everything you see nowadays anyway. So So. And
from what the salary has been projected as Saquon Barkley making in the next contract, it's like, fuck that. We're not. Why would you pay that for that?
Montgomery and Herbert are an awesome duo together. Just because I can't imagine Montgomery's going to ask for a lot of money. I just don't see another team signing him for a huge amount of money. I don't. So, like Chris says, let's get some wide receivers because that's what we need to spend our money on. So. And speaking of wide receivers,
I like what Cliff says really quick before we end the running back. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt. That's
how old is he though?
That's a good question.
That's the thing. Running backs only. They start to run out of steam.
Be up there. Yeah.
I mean, he's been around for a while, hasn't he?
Let's see what happens when I.
Let's see.
He's 27.
Okay. But he's been 6 years in the league. So that's for a running back, that's ancient.
That's true.
What do you reckon though? What do you reckon, guys, to the Las Vegas running back, Josh Jacobs?
Oh, yes.
Were he on your list? I'm sure you're on your list.
I didn't catch that. Say that one more time. Chris?
And I was thinking about the Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh
Jacobs.
Back.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs,
He's on there.
He's an absolute beast.
Yeah, I think Nomad said that in chat here too, like Josh Jacobs. But
you know what? This guy, Tiff or whatever his name is, you can get a good running back in the draft too. There, so you could do that. But right now, I think we've got what we need. They just need to sign, and you got Herbert on 2 more years. So sign Montgomery, and don't worry about it. Let's move on and fix what we need to fix. Okay. So on that note, we're moving on. And so I went to wide receivers. So wide receivers, quite honestly, except for Mr. Mooney, I gave them all C's. I gave St. Brown a C, Pringle, Pettis, Harry, I can't even say because the guy never frickin' plays. Although when he does play, he usually makes a good catch at least once or twice in the game. Like to see him playing more. And then Claypool, kind of disappointed there because I don't think they're using him enough. So it's hard to tell what he's bringing to the table. I mean, he's been double covered when he's in there. So, and we have anybody because Mooney's out. We can't have anybody to, accent him. So we're not seeing truly what he can bring to the table. That's why I want him to throw the next 4 games and see. Mooney was the only one I gave a B to. Because as I've said before, he's not a number 1, but he's a solid number 2. And he has made some pretty good catches for Justin this year. So,
yeah, yes.
And then, I forgot one, Jones. I'm not a big fan, but I know Dan likes him. I gave him a C-. I'm not. He's got some proving to do. He's got some proving to do.
Yeah, I think I gave Velus Jones an incomplete.
I could see that too.
Yeah, he's just, for whatever reason, it wasn't working out. He wasn't catching on. He hasn't been catching on this season.
No, he hasn't.
I expected to see more, as I've said before, just some quick slant plays, some mesh concepts, just get him in space where you can just get him to catch the ball, running in stride, and see what kind of yak you can get out of him.
Yep.
And it's been surprising that they haven't done that.
I know.
And they put him in for that deep ball, which I've said before, I didn't fault him for dropping that because the way that the Cowboys were scoring in that game, they would have probably just come back and scored right again with 4 minutes to go if he would have caught that and scored a touchdown. We ended up scoring on that drive anyway, so we ended up wasting the clock, and they had no time left going into the half. So it ended up working out. But, you want to see that. You want to see him catching that ball. And every situation they put him in hasn't it hasn't worked for his skill set because he's not a punt returner, and they're not putting him in there on some, Tyreek Hill type plays. Let him use his speed. Take that advantage of his speed,
Yeah, well, hopefully in the off season they're going to work with him. But okay, Chris, what do you think about the receivers?
Oh, I think this is one of our weakest groups of the whole team. I really do. I think the overall standard of the group is pretty low. I mean, obviously, I think Mooney really is a very good number 2. I don't think he's a number 1 to me compared to people like A.G. Brown and some of the number 1s of other teams. I mean, it's a good play. The catch I think against Minnesota were an absolute amazing catch, probably one of the catches of the year. But I think Seth Brown, he cost us a game. I think all right, people go, he's good at blocking, but in the day, you are a wide receiver to catch the ball. That is the main objective of your position, isn't it, really? So I'd give him a D. Pringle, who the fuck? I don't even know who he is, to be honest with you. I mean, he's only a couple of times, it seems to me. I know he caught a touchdown, but I can't really think of a grade to give him. Probably a D again. So I think that's the unit what we really need to invest in. I mean, I'd like to invest that unit a lot in the free agency market. I don't know if there's any good wide receiver free agents next year. I haven't really looked into it.
We could take a look at that in a minute, but what was your overall? So what do you think about the rest? Like, I like what you did, Lynn. There, you gave the overall core of the wide receiver group a C. So there was some B's and a low B in there, and there was
and then Jones was the worst. But
there
yeah,
was some
the rest
B's
of
in
them,
there, I'm sure. Or F's. And so
they haven't been terrible, those few in there, but they haven't been what we need for Justin. That's for sure.
Yeah,
we need a receiver. We need to get a nice
And also,
tall receiver that can jump. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
Sorry, Lynn. This is the delay. Yeah, I mean, I've always wondered why, how come the player we got for New England haven't played more? Because he made a blinding catch against I can't remember against Green Bay, or I can't remember. All the games seem to be just be blended into one big loss at the moment. But he made a really good play. He made a really good play, and then straight away we took him off. So he wouldn't even won the next play on that series. So I don't know if he's not doing what he's because Coach Flewers keeps going about like you have to train well on a Wednesday, and I mean, obviously that's what you want. So I don't know if he's sort of, behind the scenes not pulling his weight or just not getting it. So I think, like I said, I think receiver group is probably what we really need to sort out.
And
Justin Fields is, I mean, it's got a lot better the pass section, but
sorry, go ahead, buddy. The delay is awful.
I can't remember what I was saying, man, now. So
I'm sorry, buddy.
You go ahead, Dan.
I'll just finish up by saying I had a B, C, D, and a C plus. So that would equal out to about a C for you, Lynn. So basically I was at about a C too.
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. I mean, like who wrote here that Harry should be used more in the end zone with Clement? Somebody said that. And but where has he been? I mean, how many games has he played? 3? I mean, and when he's in, you're like, oh, there's number 8. And then he catches a great ball. So it's like, and how Coach Flus has his, if you don't practice good, you don't play. So some of these guys might not be good practicers. And is that a word?
Practicers?
Yeah, practicer. I'm sure I made that up.
Good.
I'm sure you did.
And but you know what I mean?
Hey, Lynn, I'm from England, and it sounded good.
I love you, Chris. I loved you, man.
That's awesome.
So then what comes on offense is the offensive line. And yes, they've been improving little itsy bitsy steps, but I gave them a D, all of them. I know they're improving, but overall, if you look at the whole season so far, they get a D because they're not consistent. If they could get it a little bit more consistency, but of course we've been, Queen's English. I do. If we got some more consistency out of him, we got Patrick at center where he belongs, things would look better. But on a whole, I'm just not all that pressed. I know there's some guys stepping up like Leatherhood, but right now it's a D for me. I just can't give him anything better. I can't.
I love it. Chris, go ahead.
Sorry. I will think you're very similar to yourself, Lynn, but I've completely lost my train of thought. Completely gone. What was I going to say now? Sorry about
the offensive line.
See?
Offensive
line.
I didn't talk about the offensive line.
Yes.
Man, this is a combination of like not having a drink for about 2 weeks and thinking, I'll have a few beers before I go on the show so it'll sort of relax me. And then I thought I'll have a few joints. And I think it's all just come together and I'm absolutely talking gibberish. So I do apologise, Lynn. We're not all
okay,
English are not like this, I can assure you.
You're good.
Well, that sucks if they're not. Oh boy.
Oh, God, that's funny. You're good.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So we're just going to say.
Sorry, it's come back, Dan. Dan, it's come back. Dan, it's come back.
Circles around. Oh, I got it now.
Dan,
Go
what
ahead,
do you
buddy.
say? What do you say about him, Dan?
Oh, the offensive line.
No, I was just going to say.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, then.
No. Everyone shut up. Chris, it's your fucking turn to talk. Offensive line grade, go.
I'd say D. But
D.
you've got to think, though, we are one of the best running teams in the league. So I know the pass protection not been anything good, but they have been really good at run blocking, and stats show. It's just at the start of the season when you kept seeing Justin Fields getting absolutely hammered.
Yes.
And you just saw people missing the assignments and the blocks.
Yes.
And also, I think you mentioned it on one of your shows, Dan. Can't remember it being Reef or Schofield, and they were on the right tackle, and a guy just ran past him, just sort of in a semicircle, and he just went like that, and like you're just thinking, how can we pick that up? How can we didn't read the game? So yeah, I'd say D for me, because end of the day, it's a passing league. So if you can't pass protect and that's what you want to do, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
I know I
agree.
I actually caught a little bit of flack in the comments from the show on Monday about Nomad and I's grades for the offensive line, because we broke them down individually. And if I were to go and look at this and just put it into an overall number, it would basically be a B minus, because I had
B minus, really?
Yeah, because I had Braxton Jones.
What team are you talking about? The Chicago Bears?
I know. I'm being a homer. Let me be a fucking homer. It's my show.
Oh, it's your show.
It's my show. I can do what I want, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn, let's bully him.
You're welcome. I love giving him shit.
Braxton Jones, for a rookie, I gave him a B plus. Left guard, the overall play of left guard. Who was it? I gave CW. Chris Cody Whitehair. I gave him an A minus. Yeah, Sam Mustipher. For all the flack he's taken and all the shit I gave him a B minus, because he's improving, and you know what? The kid cares, and I know it's like A for effort, right? But I gave him a B minus because he's shown improvement as the season has gone on. At right guard, Tevin Jenkins, I gave him an A minus, like he was supposed to be a right tackle, and look at him doing what he's doing at right guard. Right tackle is the big fucking problem, and that's where it starts to come into C minus. Riley Reef has played more like a B minus. Alex Leatherwood, in the 11 snaps that he played this weekend, the last game, he had that was an A minus to me.
Well, he played well, but it's one game, okay? One game, all right? So
yeah, but he only really played 10 snaps there. So what's that like? One whole series? So it's not like they're different if you saw him for like a half or something like that.
We probably are all high renewable, because I know I am.
Well, you know what? I'm not yet, because I could never do the show high, and never. I'd forget every minute what I'd be like, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? Because I'm already old and pickled, so forget it. But you know what? I agree with you in some ways, Dan. I mean, I know it was harsh for a D plus, and I only probably did it because of the beginning of the season. They are great block runners, that's for sure. But you know what? I guess I'm pissed. So and I'm taking it out on them, which is it's pretty much happening with the defensive line as well.
Oh yeah.
I am really pissed at them. That defensive line is awful. And sometimes, like 99 Gibson, 90 Jones, and I'm talking Justin's Jones, not Jalen Jones, because people get that mixed up. There's two, but 96, and particularly, I'm going to call this dude out, because he looked, oh my God, when I think I can run faster than somebody, there's a problem, okay? And Mike Purnell, I think his name is, number 64. He is
Mike
awful.
Purnell.
Have you seen him? I noticed in the last couple games when plays were going on, the fat ass is sitting there watching the play. Go right by him. I'm like, what are you doing, man? I mean,
I have noticed that a couple times too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, and he stands out like a sore thumb. And you're like, hello? Are you like?
There was a couple times I was like, "Who's that 64? That was a nice play." Oh, that's Mike Pinnell. Yeah.
I had to write that down one day a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I'm writing this number down. I'm pissed. We're gonna find out who that guy is. And seriously, I saw him 4 times watch a play go right by him, and he just watched. He was like, "Oh, it's like he's like, wow, this is really cool football."
Yeah, it's like I'm in the stands. Could somebody get me a beer? Hey,
You know
beer
what?
here.
I
Beer
mean,
here.
I mean, they've all had their flashes of moments here throughout the season, but I'm giving them a D too. And I could easily give them an F, but I'm just not going to do that to any pair. But except for 64, he gets an F minus. But they've had some flashes, but they're just awful. I mean, I say they can't stop a crawling baby, for Christ's sake. They're just awful. Awful. All right, that's what I say about the defensive line. Go ahead.
So what's your what was it? I lost it. What was your overall grade in that? I lost it.
A D. D minus.
Okay.
I mean, no love there.
Oh God. That's good stuff. All right. D minus for you. How about you, Chris?
I will go for an E. I think it's the worst defensive line performance the Chicago Bears I've seen in years. I mean, it's just fucking terrible. It's terrible. I come watching the last game, and basically they would have sort of stood upright, and it was like they were dancing with the offensive lineman. You know what I mean? There was no penetration at all, and it's just so un-Chicago Bears. Like, it's so weird seeing it. But I remember listening to Dan Aguirre, and he said it could be the coach, and it could be the coaching because they all just seem to be really flat-footed and sort of quite upright to me. And like the sort of hand technique seems a bit sort of missing as well. So, but yeah, very poor. I mean, it's just so weird. When we were sort of scoring loads of points, I bet the defense couldn't stop the opposition. It was like an upside down world. It was very weird. But yeah, the defensive line, I just think that's been one of the worst in Bears history.
So I agree with Chris 100%. You know what? Me and my son have been saying it. What's going on? They're scoring points and the defense sucks. Now, in all of my years, and I've been 47 years, I've been a Bears fan, and this is by far the worst defensive line I have seen in those 47 years. Defense has never been a problem for the Bears. It's always been, can you score a damn point? That's what we've always bitched about, right? And now they're terrible. They are, oh my God, we have a lot of work to do.
My overall grades were F, D, B, C, D. So I think that equals a D.
Yeah, I mean, we all know they suck. I mean, the only good thing about that defense is the backfield. The backfield is the only thing that saved us. I don't like any of our real linebackers except for our homegrown Jack Sanborn, 57. You got to give that guy. I couldn't give him an A because what did I give him? Hang on. See, I gave him a, I'm probably being a little stingy. I gave him a B minus, probably could be a B plus, and he's only played 5-6 games, but he has really shown he's not, I've said it, and I've repeated myself, but he's not the fastest guy in the field, but he makes up for it in his football knowledge. You see him around the ball all the time, around the play, and he's only started 6 games. So he's got next year, I think he's going to come out and he is going to lead those linebackers. I think he's not going to be Mike Singletary. So everybody calm down. I'm not comparing him, but I kind of am because he's going to be the leader like Michael Singletary was, because Mike wasn't the biggest guy in the whole world either, but his football knowledge was wonderful and his leadership. And that's what I see in Jack Sanborn. So I'm going to give him a B plus only because he's really stepped up. He took over for Roquan Smith. All right. I got to say one thing real quick. It's off the path a little bit, but it's freaking funny. Did you guys watch the Ravens-Pittsburgh game on Sunday?
No, I heard about it though.
Mitchell got picked off.
Oh, yeah.
By
Sorry.
Smith. Oh my God. I'm like, You can't write a story better than that. I'm like, oh my God, is that hilarious or what?
No shit.
Rachel, but it was.
I thought the same thing when I happened. Like, that is ironic as hell.
Yeah, it really was.
It was like a little bit like a little bit like Welcome to Tinseltown.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty. But so out of all the rest of the linebackers, for the most part, I give them C's. Moreau, he's not. Is it Monroe? Yeah, he's not consistent.
Yeah, Nicholas Moreau.
He makes a good play, and then you don't see him till 10 plays later. So. I really am not all impressed with the linebackers except for Jan Sanborn. I'm really not. So I don't. That's
Chris,
it, Chris.
What do you think?
I think regarding the jackhammer, I'm gonna give the kid. I mean, I'm gonna give him an A-. I really am.
Okay.
It's sort of.
I can see it.
I don't really like giving players A's because A to me is like perfection. I need that many players that ever reach perfection, in their positions. But I just think it's just the situation when the guys come in that he's had that pressure on him straight away because obviously he's replacing Roquan Smith. And like you said, Lynn, he might not have the most sort of best, physique or speed, but he's got the football knowledge. So his game's smart. And he does. I remember watching. I think it's when we played the Falcons, Dan, and he went on like an inside linebacker blitz, and he would have sort of running like a train. He just sort of crashed into their running back who were trying to block for the quarterback, and it would have still hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's sort of a good one for the future, and I think the rest of them really. I think they're probably sort of journeymen. Really, I don't see many of them being in a team next year.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I felt like what I saw in Jack Sanborn had me so excited in the beginning of training camp and everything in the preseason games we saw him in, and I mean he was the talk of training camp, and
it was.
It was hard to sit there and shout from the mountaintop like I wanted to at the time because of the things that I saw. I didn't want to have people come hammering down on me for thinking that Jack Sanborn would be a starting Mike linebacker for us in the future. And here we are. The season isn't even over yet, and he's our starting Mike linebacker, and he's getting the same production out of a 2 linebacker set that Roquan was.
Yes.
And it doesn't really the way that kid is able to find his way through traffic, weave his way through traffic and get to the person he's tackling, whether it's running back or whoever. I mean, it's something special, and it when you see it. The kid, his football instincts are off the chart.
Yes, they are.
He's playing for his team. I mean, what else?
Yes, that he grew up
what more
loving.
motivation can you have than that? And
I know exactly. I mean,
so.
I agree. And he should have had an interception on his resume right now. We all know
exactly. He got robbed of that,
right?
And I gave him a B+.
Okay, so we agree, right?
Yeah,
we all agree. I think we all agree on most of them. And then what do we got left? We got our backfield, and I like the backfield a lot. I'm a big fan. Jalen Johnson, JJ, number 31. Solid play. Even Aaron Rodgers wasn't throwing in his direction 2 weeks ago. He said he is great. When Aaron Rodgers compliments somebody, boy, you don't hear that often unless he's looking in the mirror and he's talking about himself,
Right.
But JJ, I'm going to give him I'm going to go B+. I'm not, because the rest of the defense has hurt them all. So, and then Gordon and Brisker. Well, Gordon's a cornerback, number 6. I love this kid. I think I've seen improvement. He makes a couple mistakes, but he's a rookie. And he came out, and I am very impressed by him. I think Gordon, cornerback, and Brisker, number 9, our safety. We got B+ for both of them. They played very well. And thank God they're back this week off of concussion protocol because we missed them. But impressive, and Brisker came from Penn State, and they said, when I know what is his name, Franco or whatever the coach's name, he said, boy, you got a franchise player there, and I think both of these guys are. So for rookies, I wouldn't normally give rookies that high, but I am for both players. I like them. I like Carson, Houston Carson. He's been not bad. I give him a C+. What's the one, number 22? What's his name? Veldor, right? You know what? I give him a C. Almost a C-. Sometimes I'm not liking what that guy's doing. He misses stuff that, shit, I've seen passes go right by his face, and he's like, oh, whoa, I forgot we were playing. What's going on? I mean,
Right.
I'm not, but you know what I feel about the backfield. I have praised them all year. So, my rookies, I'm loving them. So.
Oh yeah, we've been loving on them all year. We all have.
So How about you, Chris?
I'd have to say my big surprise is Eddie Jackson, because I thought Eddie Jackson's. I know that's why I said it, Lynn, to get you back.
Yeah, you did. Because, you know what? He's on IR and poop right over my head. And I'm going to give Eddie, B+ for sure. For sure. I mean, they could all. They're all going. They're floating on A-, B+.
Yeah. I mean, like,
what did you give him?
what I'm just going to say about
Chris?
Eddie. So, I'd say overall, Brisker, I give him a B-, because I think he really still needs to wrap up when he's tackling more. Sometimes, especially on the season, he seems to go like, a lot of this big sort of shoulder hits. And you're not playing in college anymore, man. You know what I mean? These are bigger, stronger guys. So I wish he'd wrap up a bit more like they do in rugby. I think Gordon, I give him a C+. I think, like you said, Lynn, he's like improved dramatically from when he first came on. He don't look as lost anymore. And then, Jalen Johnson, you got to give him, I'd say, a B+, A-, because you don't really hear his name, which is always a good sign when it comes to quarterbacks. So, that's, I think, I was very surprised with the backfield. I thought, especially Eddie Jackson, how he played the last 2 years, especially last year, when he could basically, he was shocking when it came to tackling. And he's massively improved on his tackling game, and he was doing really well. And it's just such a sad situation that he got that injury.
I know.
I don't remember what you said your grade was on Eddie Jackson, though.
B+.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Okay, so I gave Eddie Jackson an A.
Okay.
Because he was our leading tackler. I mean,
he's the leader out there, too.
And he was our captain, our leader. He was the leader we had left.
Yep.
He was having a good season. I gave Kyler Gordon, I gave him a B+ for – no, I'm sorry. I gave Kyler Gordon a C+, because I think he, as a rookie, he got better as the season went on. From the first game to the last game we saw him play, much better, getting better. He's getting it.
We have 4 more to go, so.
Right, and like I saw Nomad say up in here, like once these two guys, these guys are they're the future of this team, and I think we're all in agreement. We're all fairly close on our grades for.
I think
for those guys.
That's not the problem on the defense. It's the line and then the linebackers. We all know that. If you're a fan, you know that. And Nomad, I think he wrote something earlier that really made me laugh. He said, our defensive line doesn't even know what a quarterback smells like.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even get close. I mean,
no, he said if they rubbed them in skunk ass, our defensive line wouldn't be able to sniff them out.
No, they wouldn't. So it's true. I mean, we had some good statements here today, I gotta say.
Sorry, Lynn. I'll just quickly say about the defensive backs is think how well they played against Green Bay Packers in the first half, where we had no pass rush on Rodgers at all, and they were covering him. Also, I mean, Neville sort of mentioned it on the broadcasting team. So I was really impressed because they're all sort of like 1-year guys, no name sort of guys. So to hold off something like Aaron Rodgers, even though we all hate him, he is Aaron Rodgers of Spurs. I was like really, really impressed.
It's true. And yeah. And oh, shoot. Somebody just wrote something good. Oh, he said, I think Cliff said it. He said, drafting Brisker has helped Eddie Jackson. I think that's what he wrote. Yes, which is true. Because if you get more talent around these guys that have been the only bright spot back there, we're going to have a defense that we're going to have a backfield that no one's going to be able to throw on. And if you get, even if we get 50% better on our defensive line, we will be jonesing, man. You know what I mean? So that defense, that backfield, and that's something the Bears haven't had solid in years. They've had here and there,
What do you guys think of what St. Omni says here? Eddie Jackson has been lucky this year, right place, right time. I think that goes along to what you were just saying, is that what Cliff's statement was, is that he helped him. That's why he was in the right position.
Right, because he's got Brisker, Barry Beat playing where he should be playing.
He was able to
Jackson
be
isn't doing
free
it all.
safety again.
Right. He could do his job, and that's what's showing in the backfield. Go ahead.
I mean, that's exactly what. Sorry, Lynn. That's exactly what I want as a defensive back, pair. You want the yin and yang. You want the guy what's going to go into the box like Brisker, and then that allows Eddie Jackson to do what he's best at. So, I don't really understand that comment really, but like I said, pleasantly surprised. But I'm going to ask you, Lynn, who would you draft first, a defensive tackle or a defensive
lineman or linebacker? Is that what he asked?
Defensive end.
Who would you draft first, a defensive tackle or a defensive end?
That's a tough one because we desperately need both. But God, that's tough because they can't stop their run and we can't get to the quarterback. So, you know what? I don't know. You know what I'll say, Chris? If there's a defensive tackle and a defensive end there, both of them when the Bears are going, let's say they do it in the first round, I would take out of one or the decision would be the most athlete in that position, the best athlete that's available out of the one or the other. That's what I would take because really we need them both desperately. So you got to take the best athlete. That's what and you got to look at his numbers in college and whatnot and all that stuff. But if they're both number one picks, they're both really good.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy with either Jalen Carter or Will Anderson.
See, I haven't been looking at the draft yet. It's just a little early for me. I understand. I'm not ready. I'm
kind of forced to during a podcast because that's what everyone wants to talk about. But
I get that. But I
understand. I normally don't put my mind frame into that until the season's over. But
not yet, because the college playoffs haven't even happened yet. So come on.
Well, also it's so sad that we've got 4 games left and we're talking about the draft so much. It's
I agree
that's
with you,
quite
Chris,
sad. Doesn't just hit me then.
Yeah,
I agree. Let's enjoy the last of the season. Okay,
I just have to say quickly that I don't really like people want the team to tank. I want the team to win every game they come out. If I paid to go to Soldier Field and I paid, I don't know, £150 for a ticket, I want to see the best people, the best product, and the best chance to win.
yes.
That sort of feeling about tanking, about getting a draft pick, just don't sit with me as a sports fan or like a supporter really.
And Chris, I think that's the best time. You just segued right into this, buddy. I know that I just embarrassed the hell out of you with that, and I apologize, Chris, but I started a GoFundMe for you to try to get your fucking blokey ass out here to a Bears game. Well, not here. I'm in Florida right now, but to the United States,
I'm
to
in Vegas,
Chicago, to go to a game at Soldier Field and see your favorite team play in Soldier Field for a home
experience.
game.
Yes, it's a good experience. Okay.
So I was just letting everyone know. I'm going to put the I'm going to put the link to the GoFundMe.
Can I just say, Dan, that I know that I've sent you an email, thanking you for this and sort of explaining, how I feel, because us English, we're not really known for public emotional showings, if you know what I mean. But I just want to say, man, it's just an awesome thing. It's sort of it makes you feel like people take notice of what you're saying, and like it's such an awesome thing that I've met you, Dan. You're such a good, positive person, man, and you're really good being for model sport, me. But when I first saw that, I was like, man, that is just amazing. But all I can say is that, if you can't put it towards it, don't worry about it, because I'll just send my lads around it morning.
Well, you know what, Chris? Don't be surprised if Dan. I'm in. I'm going to be doing that for you. I'll put whatever I can, but don't be surprised if it doesn't. It's going to happen, because Bears fans are cool people, and you know what? I see them sending you to the game. I see it in 2023.
I mean, I have to say, Lynn, that I've seen like back in the 1980s, they used to have the NFL preseason games at Wembley Stadium. This would have been like mid 80s to late 80s. So I did see NFL teams, but obviously it was a preseason game. And then I did see like the World League as well. But like, and I've been to like the London games. I went to see the 49ers against Jacksonville it'll be coming up to about 9 years. But it's England. I just want to experience that, that full can, that's what it is, if you know what I mean. It's not us Brits pretending to be American. That's what it is, and it just like I've been into the Bears since the mid-80s, so I reckon I'll be like a gibbering wreck. I'll just feel like an emo going, oh god, it's what a person statue, oh fuck. But Dan, it's blew me apart, man. And like, even if you don't get any money, just that, like, you actually did it and thought about doing it, man, that means as much. So I just want to get that out of the way, man. That's such an awesome thing to do, mate.
It is.
Chris,
Dan's a good guy.
You're one of the first people that were ever on Bears Country podcast with me, and I really appreciate your fandom coming from a different country, and we kind of talked about that on that podcast. Like, how did the NFL start in Europe? And your breakdown of that was just absolutely amazing. It started with the '85 Bears, and that's really what started it for NFL Europe. And not only did our team, is the charter franchise of the NFL, but they're the charter franchise of Europe too. And
I was old enough to really appreciate that year.
And the more and more that we've talked, Chris, I really appreciate you, and I just think it would be so amazing for you to come to Chicago and experience the Chicago food and the Chicago people, and go to a game and be with the fans in a stadium, in the stadium.
If he goes, we got to go too, right?
Well, I'll be there. If you want to come,
man.
Well, I have access to.
Yeah, we'll be the ones following.
And I have a place to stay, so I can come in.
The seats that we went to for the Dolphins game this past year, my friend, his name is Dave Heiser at the Heiser Group, and I have to remember this, professional and commercial cleaning with a touch. Dave Heiser is a great friend. Known him. He's my cousin's friend. He's known him since high school, and he has 6 seats that have been in his family forever on the 20-yard line, 3rd row. And he's worn out going to all those games all the time. He sells most of them off. It's a lot going to every game. I have Falcons tickets, and just going to one Bears game there a year is enough. And
Right.
I sell the rest. I get other event stuff that's perks that go along with it. It's the only reason why I have it. It's not because I'm a disloyal fan, but it's more of a fan of the NFL.
You are, Dan. You're disloyal and you're a jinx.
We won the Niners game, Chris.
Yeah, Chris. You know what? Dan thought the Bears were going to go 11-6. So do we need to say any more?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but I had access to those tickets.
Oh, I just have to say, Dan, it's been quite good watching the show through the season because your 11-6 prediction would just get him more and more every week, and for ages you're still sort of being positive. You went, oh fuck it.
I'm like, we had lost 6 games. I'm like, we can still go 11-6.
he did. He really was. I'm like, Dan, man, come on now.
7th place playoff.
Now wait,
Now it's time to go undefeated.
One thing, guys, we forgot 3 extra players. We have to grade 3 other players.
Oh, who's that?
Go on.
Cairo,
The kicker.
Gil, and I put Patrick Seals.
Oh, Cairo.
So Cairo is our kicker. And you know what? He gets a C from me. And then the punter, I'm giving him a B-. And Sales, our long snapper, he gets an A+. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Hey, Lynn. Lynn, I don't think I've ever watched actually my whole life watching the NFL. Well done.
That's awesome. Oh boy. Well, yeah. So I'm gonna put the link to the GoFundMe for Chris in this description, and anyone that would like to help out, that would be amazing. If we can get
anything.
I set the bar a little bit high because I wanted him to have if he's going to need a hotel, it's expensive in Chicago and tickets and stuff. I have access to the tickets. It's face value, but they are still expensive. So, if anyone that would like to donate, that would be so awesome.
And
if we
beers
can make
cost $12.
We have a year to do it, Chris. And I tell you this, we do have people that have donated so far. So, yeah.
All
We're
right,
gonna make this happen for
awesome.
everybody.
So it's that my biggest worry that you were going to tell me like in 4 months time that it's like there's nobody put any money in it.
Just Dan's $5.
yeah, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, oh no.
St. Omni is asking if does Chris Watts have an OnlyFans? I don't even know what that is, St. Omni.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know.
I'll look into it.
I don't know. I'm technically challenged. I'm very technically challenged. I have no idea. It took me. I did like about 6 months of doing the tailgate podcast, and I realised if I turn the phone horizontal, I get like a landscape view instead of them big black borders. That's how technically challenged I am.
Me too.
Chris, I just learned how to do this Monday, so this is my internet. Oh, look!
I couldn't even do that.
I don't have to make copies and pastes and downloads of shit. Oh, jeez. I'm a fucking idiot, so I just figured that out.
Stop that. Amen. That's not true.
Hey,
Okay.
so well, how long you been, Dad? How long you been doing it for now? About 4 to 5 months.
Right.
The 25th of July was when I started, so we'll be going on 5 months this month. Yeah, so.
Wow, man.
How
have you found the experience?
How
have you found the experience so far?
I thought it's been pretty interesting. It's been a lot of fun. It's been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot more work than I thought it would have been.
Right.
I've made a lot of friends along the way. I'm talking to 2 of them right now, and I started to GoFundMe for one of them. So I think it's been a positive experience to me overall. It's going to be.
He's given. Oh, sorry, Dan. Go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
No, it's going to be really, really fun moving forward when this team starts to get good because.
Yes.
I really thought they were going to be good this year, and so I was like, I want to get started before
One more
training camp. But now that I got this under my belt, the show will be better next year. It'll be better broadcast. It'll be more into it because I'll have more experience with it. So
Well, see, you don't have to be experienced as long as you're funny and you're interesting, and you don't have to. You don't want to be experts like the guys on TV. We could turn the TV on for that.
Right.
This is better because you're getting how we all feel. Everybody feels the same way we do, and that's what makes these really good. You know what? I don't want to listen to those guys with whatever. So, and I want to say, and Dan, you found me. I mean, you put this old lady on a podcast. So, you know what? This with the face of her father on a woman's body, which is, I mean, it's probably scaring people.
Your dad was a hottie too, huh?
Yeah.
He was a handsome man, but not a handsome woman.
All right. Well, we're gonna, Chris, Lynn and I are gonna wrap this show up here. So why don't you guys let everyone know where they can find more of you, and then we'll let you go, and then Lynn will wrap this up, and we'll get ready for next week. And
Chris, I just want to say it's been great talking with you today. You're awesome.
Hey, Lynn, I thought I started off a bit sort of slow because I was like a little bit pissed and a little bit stoned. But like, as you can probably tell, through the program, I've slowly got a little bit quicker. So I'm actually at full percentage at the moment. So it's just a shame that our time has to end. But Lynn, I've watched your shows with Dan, and they've absolutely made me laugh and taught me things. And you're such a star. You're such a star. It's been such a blast. We'll have to do it again, Lynn. We'll have to do it again, definitely.
Definitely.
Chris,
and Dan, you were just
Dan.
Right, mate.
No, I know that. This show is for Lynn. This show is so much fucking fun to do with you, Lynn.
We do have fun.
It's the only podcast that I can rewatch of mine because you just crack me up. I love going to your channel, especially after a loss, Lynn, because you're just hilarious and you brighten up my day. And
thanks.
Same thing with you, Chris. Yeah, you have some stuff going on the Barroom Network too, So.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So on the Barroom Network on a Sunday morning, so I think it's 10 Eastern over at your over the pond that we do the Barfly Tailgate show, and it's me and AC and KB and a few other people pop in like Tooch. So we do that usually for about an hour and a half. So we're previewing the game what's coming in the afternoon, and so that's such a blast to do. And it's like Dan said, I consider all the people like who I work with, well not work with, but co-hosts on that show as really good friends. Like we communicate via Twitter, and it's out to Dan and Newland. So that's what we do on a Sunday morning. So I was just a bit worried, Lynn, that you might not be able to understand the word I've been saying tonight, just due to my Yorkshire English accent.
No, I understand you, my friend. Actually, I'm a big British TV watcher.
All right, cool.
I love the English.
So does that mean I sound like a Yorkshire pit miner?
You do, my friend.
Where are we going with this, Lynn?
Oh goodness!
Oh,
excellent,
sorry.
Excellent.
That was good. That was real good. And
real
Cliff, I just want to shout out to Cliff. He says we need to have a beer with Lynn and Chris. Yes, you guys do.
Yep.
Get your asses out to Vegas.
And Dan can come too, I guess.
Or when we make this GoFundMe happen, we'll have those seats for next year, and we can all sit together and have beers.
That'll be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Would that be the best? I'm telling you, if it happens, I'm coming.
I tell you what, I'm thinking about it today, Dan. I was just thinking it'd just be nice just to sort of chat to you about like your childhood compared to mine, because we're more or less the same age, and also like what I sort of project what it was like to be in an American high school is sort of really true. So it'd be nice just to spend a bit of time with you, having a beer or whatever, and me discovering if it's all true. Because that's when I was like younger, like anything American, like American culture, like a big thing over in the 1980s. So we always thought like you'd have all these proms and dances, and you have like the jocks and the cool kids and all that. So we'll have to you'll have to tell what it's really like, mate, when we have a chance.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll have there's plenty of time for that in the off season. We can have an old high school mate talk.
And one last thing, Dan, somebody else wrote something, and I don't know who it was, but it was a compliment to us. They said what we said. You guys are more authentic than the TV people. See?
Oh, definitely.
Than the pundits on TV.
That's it. The pundits on TV. Thank you, Brian. But
Thank you, Brian.
True, because we talk with passion and truth, and we don't have an agenda behind our talk, right? We're just Bears lovers.
How can we not? We got somebody from Yorkshire, England, Vegas, Chicago, Florida. So how can you beat that?
What is the fucking name of the show? It's Bears Country. It's not. It's not. I live in the country. I'm not country. It's Bears Country. Everybody's part of Bears Country.
Yeah, you can't
As
really
a Bears fan, we're part of Bears Country. Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I fucking saw that on your wall. I was like, it's.
You can see it, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It was meant
Bears
to be,
Country.
Lynn.
I know.
Awesome.
And I had that before I met Dan. It was just a coincidence. And
I was like, is there a fucking country sign on here? Does that say Bears Country back there? Holy shit.
I can't get everything all my junk on the screen. Believe me, I wish I could. I have so much Bears stuff. But and I'm hoping to get more for Christmas.
Lynn, sorry, can I just quickly ask you?
Sure.
I know this was quite funny as well. I was backstage for about quarter of an hour just before the show, and it was really funny watching you and Dan just talk. Felt like I was doing a bit of spying. I just want to mention that. It was quite amusing.
And she had no idea you were back there either.
No, I felt quite sort of naughty and sneaky. It was quite good.
That's awesome. Well, Chris, I'm glad.
So funny. I love you, man.
I love this guy too.
Oh, you're great. You're great. I'm gonna have to check out your show. I didn't know you had one, but now I do. I'll check it out.
Yeah, Chris, why don't you go ahead and plug that show, and then we'll let you go, and then Lynn and I will wrap this show up.
Yeah, on the Barrow Network Sunday morning before the game at 10 Eastern. The tailgate barfly tailgate show. Well, I fucked that up. Really fucked that up. But
cool.
But yeah, the barfly tailgate show 10 Eastern. You get all the facts and all the like we do it. And we have a good laugh as well, and it does feel like you just sat in a bar, chewing the fat with your mates, talking about the Bears. So that's that. If you can catch us on a Sunday, that'd be awesome. Because the more the merrier.
Absolutely. And Chris, we love you here at Bears Country Podcast. You know that you are always welcome, and we will see you again real soon, buddy. Okay.
You will do, mate. Take care, mate. Take care, Lynn.
Bye, Chris.
If I don't speak to you before Christmas, have a good Christmas, Lynn.
You too, my friend. You too.
Cool.
God bless.
Cool. Nice one, Dan. Thanks a lot, mate, for everything. I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Cheers.
Oh, wait. You want to end it with the Bears?
Oh, no, sorry, yeah, man. Go on. You
got it. Give me your best Bears.
God. What, like in a high pitch for? All right, Bears.
There you go. I love Chris.
That was really fun.
The only problem with it sucks with the lag and but talking to Chris is always so much fun.
He's a great guy.
He's I love that. I love the fandom that we have from across the globe.
Yes,
and
I agree. It's so cool.
It's so interesting to get that perspective from him whenever I talk to him. And the lag thing sucks, but it's as long as we all get it figured out. It's
exactly. It was great.
So,
lots of fun. Thanks for the surprise.
You're welcome. I know he's a big fan. He always has. You see him commenting after the shows that we do. So before we wrap up the show, let's just kind of really quick talk about how do you feel about this upcoming Eagles game?
Well, it's going to be tough. What are they, 12-1? They lost to the Commanders, though. Remember that. They lost to Washington, and, of course, we did too. But we're not even going to talk about that because that is the most embarrassing game we had this year. So they are beatable. Anybody's beatable. But Jalen Hurts is just balling it right now, and they're doing it on all cylinders. They really, really are. The Bears. Bottom line is the Bears have to play 4, not 3, 4 quarters of errorless football. Keep those penalties down, unlike the Green Bay game, and play all 4 quarters. Finish a damn game. And they haven't done that. And, I think they'd have a chance, but, it depends. Everyone's got to play their top game on Sunday. I mean, they're coming off a bye. Those aches and pains are gone. Let's see what they look like. I mean, they have to be error-free for 4 quarters. That's the only chance they have. And I want to see them throwing the damn ball.
Steve Phillips says, is it wrong I want them to lose? Lose well, though? Well,
I get what he said. That's how I felt in the beginning of the season with some of the games. We talked about it. Even the losses were like, what game was it where the whole town was like acting like we won the Super Bowl and we lost the game? I mean,
it was a Dolphins game.
Yes, and I'm like, I was like feeling like I'm in a flashback to the '80s. It was really freaking me out. I couldn't figure out. I'm like, is this 2022? But. Right. And I get what he's saying. I get it, but it sure would be fun to beat Philadelphia because they're going to the playoffs. They're going to have a chance for the championship game. It could be in the Super Bowl. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure. Well, no, it can't be San Francisco because although the most relative player was. Did you see that game? The San Francisco game?
No, I did not. No, I did not. I saw the highlights.
Pick in the draft. What do they call Mr. Irrelevant?
Mr. Irrelevant, yeah.
He was the quarterback for San Francisco, and he put a pounding on Green Bay. So, but I don't know. On
Tampa Bay, yeah. Brock Purdy.
Tampa Bay, right. But
yeah, I know.
It would be fun to beat Philadelphia at home, no doubt about it. I mean,
there was a play on him. There was an all-out blitz. Like they brought the house, and he just zipped the ball out of there for a perfect pass to Kittle for like a 15-yard gain. And
yeah, he's something.
Wow,
he could be something. You don't know if it's what's his name? The coach's name? You know who I'm talking about? I can't think of his name. Yeah, he's so talented, though. So you don't know if this kid, is it Shanahan, and he's got great players around him, or is this kid really going to be something special? We don't know. He could be another Brady. Brady went in the 7th round, didn't he?
6th round, I believe, yes.
6th round, okay. Yeah. So you never know. But anyways, it would be really, really fun to beat Philadelphia. You talked about it in the beginning of the show. It would really boost the players up to no end. But it has to be complete 4th quarter, 60 minutes, air free.
Just to kind of talk about what some of the people are in chat here are talking about losing and, losing could be good and whatnot. Here, let's take a look at the quarterback class coming out. So we got Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, so on and so forth.
Well, I've seen some of these guys play.
Right, and if you start looking at some of these players, which I did, I mean, Bryce Young is small. He throws a really good ball. CJ Stroud, I think, has started to fall off the board as the season went on. Like he can't win the big game.
Nope.
What is Greg Gabriel says? He pisses down his leg all the time in the big moments.
Yeah,
Who I was looking at was Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. And I know you haven't been, you're not doing any of the scouting.
Well, I've seen Will the Kentucky guy play.
That kid, his not only the cannon that he has, but the quick release that this kid has, I guarantee that he is going to be, if not the first quarterback taken. By the time we get done with the season, everyone starts falling in love with all of the measurables and everything, and people start looking at this guy's tape. Everyone's going to be saying that Will Levis is the number 1 quarterback in this draft. And so what's going to happen there when let's just say I'm wrong, right? Let's just say people don't think that maybe they think he's the 3rd best. There's not going to be that value for the Bears there that right now if they sit at the 3rd pick, they might be willing to sit and not trade up into the draft to try to get someone like a Will Levis because maybe he'll be sitting there for New Orleans.
Well, you know who's going to be sitting there.
I'm sorry, that's Philadelphia, but maybe he'll be sitting there for Indianapolis, so they wouldn't want to make the trade. Maybe Carolina will do that. But the point is
Why are we?
It's so fucking hard to speculate. Exactly. At this point in the season, let's just get some damn wins.
Well, you know who's going to be sitting there that might, although I don't know, I'm iffy on it, was the guy from Tennessee, but he went out with an ACL, so he's not going to get picked for a while. So he could be a steal. Mm-hmm. That's what if the Bears are going to do it, because he can't play. He won't play until mid-year next year probably, because he went out just 3 weeks ago with the ACL. And I watched all the Tennessee games because my brother's a big fan. So, and he's pretty good, but he could be a steal. But I don't care about quarterbacks right now. I know,
but the only reason why I'm talking about quarterbacks is because of the teams that might want to trade up for one.
Right.
And so if you're with the draft that we're looking at, it might not be in the Bears' best position to have the third pick.
Right.
Because they might lose out on the two top defensive players, and then they know that people know that the Bears aren't going to be taking a fucking quarterback in this draft. So why would they?
Exactly. You're right. Yeah.
Why would they? Other than if they think that the Lions might draft a quarterback, if they're trying to jump up again ahead. If this is where the draft order remained, I
think the Lions will very well. If there's a good one of these guys are left, I think that Lions will do it because they're set in a lot of those other areas. You know,
if the draft order remains like this is for the rest of the season. This is what it ends up with. Are the Lions going to take a quarterback? I think that's the big if. And if people don't think that they are, they're not going to be trying to jump ahead. And they might very well, but I don't think that teams will be trying to jump ahead to the Lions to get to Chicago for that pick. So let's just win some games. Let's just play out the fucking season and win some games and see what happens. And if we have the fifth, big fucking deal. There's still going to be someone good enough there.
Yep, exactly.
Another thing I wanted to kind of look, because I was thinking, well, maybe we can beat the Eagles because maybe they're looking ahead to the future for this is a trap game for them, you know.
It could be very possible.
So where is my?
I mean, Washington was because it was a divisional game, so they came and played them real tough. But you could they could overlook the Bears. Definitely. And I wouldn't because they're coming off the bye. That's the only reason I wouldn't overlook them is because of the bye.
Right. I just want to pull this up here because I want to show who they're playing the remainder of the season. So here we have.
Oh, Dallas. Well, Saints, they're going to beat the Saints. Giants are going to give them a run. So Dallas, that's tough for Philadelphia. Saints, they're going to beat the Saints, no problem. And who else was it?
Right. Could they be looking ahead to the Cowboys?
That's what that's what exactly right. So they could be looking because they need that game big time because they're division rivals, aren't they? Yeah.
They're division rivals, yes.
Right. So they need that game. Right. So
those games are always the toughest games. We all know that.
And they're still playing New York, too. And New York has been up and down, but you never know with them. And then the Jets, they're going to beat the Jets. So it's two. I see them. It could be, well, they could run the gamut, actually. But, but the Dallas is what they could be overlooking. I'm sure they're telling their players, don't be looking at that game. We're playing the Bears. So we'll see.
And I saw Cliff say, I'm trying to find Cliff's comment. He said something about that the Bears have no chance in this game. And I think, Cliff.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Where my 11-6 optimism comes from. I know that's gone out the window now, but I still have the same optimism, Cliff. So I'm saying that this game could be a sleeper game because they're looking ahead to the Cowboys. The Bears are 3-10. Yeah, they're coming off a bye week, but we got this game. We're looking to that divisional game against the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes a difference.
Chance. You're right.
Because they have 2 division games left.
Right.
So that's a big one for them.
It sure is. It really, really is. So be interesting. But yeah, it'd be cool if the Bears beat them. I'd be down for it.
Now I know that we have ran this show a lot longer than you were anticipating because of our surprise. So I apologize for doing that to you, Lynn.
I don't care. I know it's starting to get dark out, and it was light when we started.
So let's get your score for the game, and we can wrap this up.
You know I hate doing that. All right.
You say it every time.
I do say that every time. Well, I don't think the Bears are going to win. And then that unless there's the offensive line is rested, so we'll give them that. So they'll come out fresh, but maybe they don't want to be embarrassed. Maybe they'll play finally. And Fields, I'm going to say 36-24. Bears lose.
Oh, 36-24.
Mm-hmm. I hope it's flipped.
And why am I typing to you, Cliff? I'm talking here. Cliff says it's possible, Shorty, that we can beat them, but they got the wake up call with Washington. What I have to say to you there, Cliff, is divisional game. That was a division game.
Exactly.
If that was like the Jaguars that did that to them, then okay. But I don't discredit any division game. Those are the games that are most of the times you just flip a coin and see what happens, And
I'm pretty sure they hate each other like we hate Green Bay. I'm pretty sure the Washington and Philly hate each other. So, because they're pretty close in distance. So.
Oh yes, they do.
Yeah, I bet they do. So, but I see what Cliff is saying, but we'll see. So, what is your score, young man?
35-31 Bears.
Ooh, look at you.
I just said it. That's right, guys.
All right.
I said it. 35-31 Bears.
I hope you're right.
I'm going to go have an Italian beef. In this town, there is a place called Joey D's, 10 minutes away.
Show it off.
With all the Chicago foods, Lynn. Oh, boy. I just had a beef for lunch yesterday.
Yummy. I'm
going to go over there, and I'm going to have a beef for lunch. I'm going to come back. I could watch the game there if I wanted to, but I want to be in the comfort of my own.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
I'm going to go eat a beef there. I'm going to come back, and hopefully that beef is the key to the game.
I hope so, my friend.
Because the last time that I had one from there, we won. So.
Although it'd be nice if the Bears won on Christmas Eve too, but I don't think that's going to happen because they play the Bills. But we'll talk about that next week. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But
yeah, we won't talk about that because if they lose this game, I'm going to predict them to beat the Bills.
Yeah, because it'd be a nice Christmas present. You say they're going to win every week, so come on.
That's exactly why I said. That's why I'm laughing.
You've been wrong 10 times. So.
That's fucking crazy. Actually, technically, I've only been wrong 4.
No. Oh, really? Okay.
So far.
All right. Oh, that's funny.
All right, Lynn. It's always such a blast talking with you. Love you so much. I look forward to it every week. It's the highlight of my week, and I know it's the highlight for a lot of other people's weeks who listen to this show.
I hope so. It's fun. I'm sure you could tell we're having fun. So it's
absolutely
a good time. Definitely.
Lynn, go ahead and plug yourself, and we'll wrap this shit up.
I will. So Mondays and Fridays, I do a show on YouTube. Let's Talk Chicago Bears. Catch me. I do them Mondays and Fridays, depending on when the Bears. Always the Friday before, and then the Monday or Tuesday after. But they're all Sunday games the rest of the year. So check me out. My shows don't go on forever like we do here. But yeah, check me out.
But
I'm always gonna make you laugh.
I guarantee you'll come and join us for Last Call at Hallis Hall, what we do on Thursday nights at some point. So we'll definitely see you again after the season's over.
Probably, yes. Yeah, because I
said definitely. You said probably.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Somewhere in the middle of there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's a maybe. That's a maybe.
Well, you will see. We got some time to go, so we'll see what happens. So, thank you.
All right. Well, Lynn, always a pleasure. Love you too. And seriously, we're gonna make this happen for Chris. We're gonna go to the game. We're gonna
I think it would be great.
It's gonna be so much fun.
And I get to meet your wife too, so that would be really fun too.
Absolutely. So for everybody, thank you very much for watching. Without you, we could not make this happen here at Bears Country Podcast. Make sure you go check out Lynn on her channel and go and help someone out. Be kind to someone because not only is it the holiday season, but you should do that anyways, right, Lynn?
All year round.
Go set up a GoFundMe for someone,
There you go.
All right, we will see you guys next week on the Lowdown with Dan and Lynn after a Bears win. Until then, we'll see you guys later.
Yep.
Bears.
I keep hitting the wrong frickin' thing.
I know, we forgot to do our sign off.
Oh, we did. We totally fucked that up, didn't we? Ready?
No. Whoa. Wait a minute. Not we. You.
No. You're right. I completely fucked that up.
All right. Just busting your balls. Okay.
I'm a rookie. What can I say? All right. Ready? Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bears.